The rumor spread through the corporate building like the morning breeze through the open courtyard. The CEO, a sharply dressed woman known for her reputation of being intimidating and untouchable, had laughed at the new janitor. She had seen him carrying a worn-out notebook filled with numbers and investment notes. When she passed him in the lobby, someone claimed she smirked and said something like, "Teach me finance, janitor," before walking away as if the joke had already been forgotten. But things never quite disappear so easily, especially when pride, struggle, and hidden brilliance are involved. And this story begins much earlier, in a quiet, sunlit neighborhood on the edge of the city, where a single father named Ryan lived with his 8-year-old daughter. Ryan was not always a janitor. He had once been a finance major, top of his class, obsessed with numbers and the way the economy breathed like a living organism. He believed understanding money was understanding life itself. But life had not been kind to him. 1 year before graduating, his wife passed away due to complications after childbirth, leaving him alone with a newborn daughter, Amina. With medical bills piling up, classes unfinished, and no family nearby, Ryan had dropped out and taken whatever work he could find. He went from office clerk to store helper to warehouse loader, always trying to make enough to get by. Years later, he found a stable custodial job in a tall glass building that scraped the sky. It didn't pay much, but it allowed him to be there for his daughter. And to him, that mattered more than anything else. That he never stopped studying. Every break, every late night, every early morning before waking Amina for school, he read about financial markets, economic shifts, and long-term investment strategies. He kept a notebook where he wrote predictions and observations. He treated it like a conversation with his younger self, the one who once dreamed of changing his life through knowledge. Not many people noticed him, except perhaps one person, his daughter. Amina often sat near him while he worked through complex formulas and charts, sketching drawings, humming songs, asking questions only children can ask. She would say things like, "Baba, will you be a teacher one day?" And he would smile softly and reply, "Maybe. But for now, I just learn." The building where he worked belonged to Oraline Dynamics, a massive consulting firm led by CEO Zara Albrecht, a woman known for her strict discipline and firm decision-making. Zara was brilliant, polished, and absolutely feared. She had grown up wealthy, educated in top institutions, and trained by the kind of mentors that shaped world leaders. She believed success was earned, but she often assumed people who didn't have degrees simply lacked commitment. To her, people were what their job titles said they were. So the idea that a janitor walked around reading finance textbooks seemed amusing to her, like a fantasy someone refused to let go of. The encounter happened one bright afternoon in the lobby. Ryan had paused his mopping to jot down a thought in his notebook. Zara walked past with several top-level executives following her. She glanced down, curious at first, but when she saw the equations and investment forecasts he had drawn, she let a small laugh escape. She asked, in front of everyone, "Planning to teach a finance seminar, are we?" It was a casual remark, not cruel in tone, but layered in condescension. Everyone else chuckled. Ryan simply closed his notebook, smiled politely, and said something soft, so soft no one heard it. But that wasn't the moment that changed everything. That moment came later. A new economic crisis hit the market unexpectedly. Stocks dropped sharply. Several clients Oraline Dynamics managed began panicking. The boardroom meetings became tense and exhausting. Zara, who always maintained calm control, found herself uncertain. The advisors she trusted offered conflicting strategies. The company was on the edge of losing millions, and the firm's reputation hung by a thread. It was around this time, late one evening when most employees had gone home, that Zara saw Ryan again. He was cleaning the hallway outside the executive conference room. His daughter was there too, sitting quietly with a homework notebook, waiting for him to finish. Zara overheard him speaking gently to his daughter. He was explaining the market crash in simple terms. He said the market was like a big tree that needed time to grow roots again after a storm. He said fear makes people cut the tree before it can recover, but patience allows it to bloom again. The words were simple, but wise. Zara stopped walking. She listened without letting herself appear curious. Something about the way he spoke, calm, thoughtful, confident, felt familiar to the way true financial strategists spoke. Not rushed. Not panicked. Grounded in understanding, the next morning, when the board gathered again, panic filled the room. Charts flashed red across screens, voices rose, and suggestions bounced in chaos. In that moment, Zara remembered the janitor's quiet explanation. She wondered what he wrote in that notebook every day. It lingered in her mind like an unfinished sentence. Then something bold occurred to her. She asked security to call Ryan to the boardroom. When he walked in carrying his cleaning cart, murmurs rippled around the room. Some laughed. Some looked confused. But Zara simply pointed to the conference table and asked him to stand at the center. She asked him one question: "If you were in my position, what would you tell our clients?" The air seemed to hold its breath. This was the moment some recalled had begun with a smirk, a challenge made of pride. And yet, what happened next silenced every whisper and every assumption in the room. Ryan opened his old notebook. He spoke gently, clearly, and with a tone that carried a quiet strength. He explained that the problem was not the crisis itself, but the fear of waiting. He proposed shifting the firm's strategy toward long-term stabilization investments, focusing on industries historically proven to rebound after market dips. He suggested communicating with clients using calm transparency instead of technical panic-driven warnings. He recommended restructuring certain portfolios in anticipation of growth cycles already visible in early trend indicators. He wasn't just talking numbers, he was talking trust, patience, behavior, psychology, the true language of finance. The room was silent. Zara felt something shift inside her. It wasn't humiliation. It was realization. This man had more depth in his thinking than half the executives she had hired. She asked him to return the next day. And the next. Within a week, he had become an informal consultant. Within a month, client losses stabilized and portfolios began recovering. The board started referring to him by name. His confidence grew, but his humility never faded. He always went home at the same time each evening to pick up Amina from school. When Zara finally offered him a full-time analyst position, he hesitated. He said he was grateful, but he worried his lack of a degree would cause problems. Zara, now humbled in a way she could not have imagined months earlier, told him something she had never said before: knowledge is not always earned in classrooms. Some lessons life teaches more deeply. He accepted. His salary increased. He moved into a better apartment. Amina enrolled in dance classes she always wanted. He continued studying, and eventually completed his finance certification online. He succeeded, not because the world suddenly became kind, but because he kept going even when no one believed in him. And because one moment of listening changed everything. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the Kindness Journal channel. Your support truly matters.